I do lot of hoes.
Alright, so welcome back, guys. So this is the start of our second video of this series. My name is Jordan, known as Supernatural 001 on Talisman Online. This series, I'm going through teaching people how to start their server, how to edit things, and we're going to see where that takes us. I was a GM of Talisman of Noxus for about the past 2.5 months, but I've been getting really busy in life, so I closed it down, and I'm going to start doing some YouTube videos. So in our first video, we went over how to download VMware, install Linux, edit, update Linux. And right now, at the end of our first video, we went through how to edit these three folders here, DB, game, and login, within our actual server folder. And all we did was change the IPs really to match our VM. We left this last one here blank. We left it as the original one that came with the server file because I want to show you an error that you might get. And this error you'll get if not all of the IPs are matching your VM one. One thing though is this login engine. You don't need this. You can delete it. It's just useless. So what we'll do is we're gonna leave this one, the original default one, just so I can show you the error you'll get. So the commands, we can close out this original terminal. So the commands to get your server online is there three. Pretty much what the command is doing is going to be pulling all these files are going to be connecting to this exe. So pretty much you're going to be activating the exe. So the command is, first you want to map the folder that has each of those exes. So we start with DB first always. DB. So CD server / DB, then /database _ server. Boom, and it'll say connected successfully. Boom, cool. And if you would have an IP not matched on any of these, if you didn't have an IP matched in here, or if your SQL password wasn't put in properly in here, this wouldn't connect. So we'll minimize that. You have to keep all three open or your server will go down. So you always want them running in the background. So we're going to go into the second one, which this one will give us the error because we didn't edit that second file. So we'll do we set it up map, and then here it'll say something like client and it failed, and it'll say some shit about some IPs. I don't fully understand it, and that's also why it's taking really long. Usually if nothing's wrong, it'll just go right through and be connected. But since something's wrong, it's like looking for it. That's one thing I noticed. If when you run a command, if it doesn't start loading stuff right away, usually something went wrong because it doesn't really lag at all. So once it pulls up the error, we will continue the video. Okay, so I wanted to show you the error, but it's not pulling it up. It's like still looking, but it would be, there's gonna be an error, and I'll show you if it would show up. I will show you, but so we'll show you that pretty much this is what happened right here. This is what will come up. Some crap about disconnected, but it will show a couple more lines of command, and it would say something about an IP address, one of these IP addresses. So what we're going to do is see if any one of these three, the third one would be the game exe. If any one of them would go down, it will say something on the other ones, like, so it's DB server disconnected because the login server was disconnected. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit that one that we skipped, and then I'll tell you something right about this PID once. Actually, so let me edit this first. I'm talking like three different things at once. I know it might be confusing a little bit for some people. So we're going to change this IP to a master VM one. And now normally it would go through, but you'll get this error right here. PID already existed. You'll get this error for any one of the three folders, the DB, login, or the game folder. What happens is whenever you run it, it pretty much caches a new file. You don't need this file ever. If you ever have it in there, the command to run it will fail. It'll give you this error that it's already existing. So you want to delete the cached file. So now, boom, login server ended okay. So it connected because we made sure all the IPs match. Now we're going to turn our server on, which is the last one. So you have three terminals. So first we're going to map CD/game, and then we're going to turn it on. Oh, I did a semicolon. You also want to make sure you type right. So, oh, okay, I see what I did wrong. So that's also something that I have edited a lot. So in your game folder here, you have all these, but the thing that you're looking for is your EVP. There is no EVP right here. So this went to go pull the EVP, which is connects to the game server executive, but it's not there. So what we're going to do is so whenever you're done, let's say you just edited your game server folder and you made some changes, added a new map or whatever, you're gonna want to open up an EVP. There's different versions. This is the one I use. You're gonna run it, and you're gonna click. This is like in Chinese or whatever, but I was told which button does what. This one would make an EVP, or this one would make a game server folder from an EVP. This one makes an EVP from the game server folder. So once it runs through, I will go back to my VM, and because how I told you how I have it shared to that folder, I'm gonna go to the pathway where that file is. So editing, um, boom, there's an EVP there. I'm gonna make sure it's done, because if you try to copy it over before it's done, it's just not, it's gonna fail. So we're gonna copy, and we're gonna paste the EVP in here. You'll do this every time. Every time you edit your server, you're gonna want to make sure that the newest EVP, which is the one you just made, is in your host. So now we're gonna run it, and it'll connect. You'll know it's connected once you start seeing like server tick and it says some numbers. I'm getting a bunch of errors, not errors, but a lot of discrepancies because of the files I'm using. They're not perfect. I just pulled one off. I pulled off one of these basic client server folders. But yeah, so now my server's online. So a lot of this I'll explain later on. So we have the server on now. Server's good. So now we're gonna need to make an account. Can't log in the game without an account. So what we're gonna do is, for starters, dang, I probably should have thought this through. So right now, look, if we get the IP, because we don't have DNS set up for our server, you can't like go to Talisman. You can't do like how I would here for my current server, Talisman Noxus, and load the website. So we gotta go to the IP. But I didn't set up the website. All right, so I have the default website right here. I got it all. It's all set up. So how you want to edit a website is first. Most of the time, you're logged in as your non-root account. Even if your account's an administrator, it's not a root account. So you're gonna have to use a command to open up your root account, and it's a sudo Nautilus. You put in. Oops, I typed in. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Sudo Nautilus. Put in. Oh, it already did. Okay. So your website always will be in the same spot no matter what version of Linux you have, no matter what version of VMware you have. You go to File System var, and then this www folder is where you'll have everything. So, oh, I did one thing wrong. First, let me paste my version of the website here. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go. Oh, I did a mistake. I deleted the www folder by accident. So I'll paste in my files for my website. Boom. And now there's a command that you'll have to do so that you're because if you go to right now, even though we pasted it in there, if we copy our website IP address and we go to it, access denied. Da, 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 da. So we have to. Let me double check one thing here. So here is you're gonna want to put in your root. How you see an error here, localhost using password no. you're gonna have to put in your root password here. So once we put in our root password here, we will try to go to our website again. All right, so we just put in our root password. Boom, here is, we can maximize this. Here's our account. So let's make an account. So I'll do that. I'll put it whatever email, and then let me put in my password. Account successfully created. So how we would double check that the account was created was, we will go open up NaviCap. So I'll go here, we're gonna open up NaviCap, and there'll be an entry in your DB underscore accounts database. So we'll see here, testing, DB account, boom, our first line. And so, so that's this is a basic website. I have 3 versions of websites. I don't feel like running the command, but I have 3 different versions of websites. One of them has an admin panel, which is the same one that I use for my website. I got this cool one here. If I'd log in, if I'd log in here, I can see all this right here, do all this crazy stuff, but we're not worried about that right now. So our website is up. We made an account. Our server is online, as we would see here, server tick. So we'll close out these, and then we're done with Linux right now. So let's try to log in for the first time. So one thing we're gonna have to do is go to our client folder, and because we don't have an auto launcher, we would run this dat file. We want our IP to match the one of our host. So we're gonna change the IP to match our host, and then we're gonna run it. And so this is a clean file. It has the basics of like level 70 cap of Talisman. So there's no new items, there's nothing. The max map on this client set of client folders that I have is like CWC, which I don't think is even finished editing. Because it's the same what I used before. I had to I had to put in a teleport to go from the first boss to the second. But other than that, yeah, CWC and MDV is the last thing by default in here. And so that'll be once we log in for the first time, that'll be the end of our second video. That'll be it for today. We will record more throughout the week. Our next video, what we will do is before we even start editing, if you don't understand these files, you're not even gonna know what you're editing. So what I'll do is I'll go through file by file and describe pretty much what you can do in each file. And then there's different, at least the local folder, it matches for the most part with your game server folder. And this game server folder is where any edits in here will reflect into your server. If you have let's say you have something edited here, and let's say your act or NPC, which is this file affects what happens when someone makes a new account, what items they have from the start, where they respawn at from the start. Let's say you have something here that doesn't match in your game server folder. Most likely you won't even be able to get your server online. When you run the command to turn it on, it'll give you an error like file this, whatever. Or if for whatever reason it does take it, which it would because there's nothing wrong editing in your game server, when you would run the client would crash. And it'd give a white box and then some gibberish which you won't be able to read because it's in like Chinese. But what you would know is if you would, which is what I do, just because I do it, is I run like it runs like a little command prompt in the background. And if your client would crash, it would tell you on what file it crashed because of. And that's in client game here, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Oh, I lied, not client game, it's in our client engine. right here, this console. So if you train as false to true, and then you open your game, so you can have this one right here. And if for whatever reason your client would crash, the command would stop on a line, and usually it would be the line of the file, and it would say, file local comment table NPC line 672, and then you would know that line or that file is what made your client crash. But yeah, that'll be it for this video. My next those just going through files alone um will be those be a couple videos, because this server folder, which you don't ever see in a client, because this is your pride, and this is everything to you. If somebody gets this file right here, this NPC folder, this is where like the scripts for like everything is at. World bosses, events, all your scripts are ran in here. So if somebody gets that, they're gonna have all your shit. So usually that's why you never see this folder in somebody's client. You just see the first three, uh, local maps and script. And even then, some of the files in your game server folder don't show up in your client folder. But yeah, that's it. So we can just log in just for our first time. See how I did testing when I was editing the files in the VM. That's how you make the server. So we will log in. I want to be. Oh yeah, and then right now I'm logging in as a basic normal player. I didn't edit my privilege level to be an admin. So right now I'm logging in as a normal person. So boom, yeah, this is normal. So how I said actor folder would affect what appears in here, what skills appear down here, where you respawn and all that. So we'll get into more detail with that in our next few videos. Those videos alone, that would be like a series of its own, just explaining it. But you're not gonna be able to edit something if you don't know how, if you don't understand what you're editing. But yeah, thanks for watching. This is only part 2 of our series. Who knows how many videos we're gonna have for this series? But thanks for watching. Stay tuned for our next video.